audience. Are you ready? Now, since this was made for American classrooms, it is notoriously unreliable and deeply unfair. So, if we get to the very end and there's like maybe a couple words left, then maybe. All right. Are you good to go?
Yes.
Do you need anything further?
No.
Do you wish to adjust the mic?
No. Do I sound okay?
Yes.
Great.
All right. And 3, 2, 1, go!
It was a regular day on the farm in central Missouri. My great-great-aunt was out on the property doing chores when a bull loose from his enclosure decided to pay her a visit, an aggressive one. At the end of their chat, she realized that they hadn't shared gossipy secrets about the townfolk over tea, but that he had gored her. A horn straight across the belly, spilling her guts out onto the ground. She looked down at her insides, up at her surroundings, and realized she was about 2 miles away from the farmhouse. She reached down and picked up her intestines off the ground, shook off the dirt, and wrapped them up in her apron, then made the hike back to the house. She survived and went on to have several more children. I wonder what I would have done. Probably complained, called the bull a cock-sucking son of a bitch, gone over the story in my head not to forget any of the ridiculous details so that when I recounted it to friends over drinks I'd get a few good laughs, had a smoke, realized my guts were still hanging out, and probably died in the field not to be found for several days. Or maybe not. I wonder how much the family you come from, the person you are told that you are, based on the oral history that's been recounted to you by your family, shapes who you become. We've coined a term in my family, Nash in it. The definition is this: to do something quickly, usually physically taxing and dangerous, without the regard to the safety of yourself or others. The reason that something usually needs to be nashed is because you don't want to wait on some dickwad that's going to do less of a good job to help you out. I throw myself in, but don't know if the term applies to me, or at least don't know that my family realizes that it does. My father is the worst culprit of nashing it, my sister being a close second. It's a source of pride to be capable in my family. I'm usually put on the same side of things as my mom. We're the ladies, I suppose. Being the youngest, now 33, I've never been allowed to drive on family vacations. My dad drives one car, my sister the other. This will never change. I couldn't imagine a situation when I would be allowed to drive one of the Nash family vehicles on a road trip. Maybe it's because I don't think I'm capable of handling it. Or maybe it's because when I was 20, I drove a car off a bridge into a swamp in Alabama. I provide the jokes, my mom administers the road snacks. I get away with being a real jackass in my family, but I think it's because it's what is expected of me. At a Cracker Barrel in North Carolina, my father had given my sister and I spending money in the parking lot. I was perusing the gift shop when I saw it, the thing I needed and had always needed and didn't even know that I needed. A ukulele in a cardboard box with plastic strings. It called to me. I swept it up in my arms and carried it around the store like a baby. It was mine and I was going to buy it with the money that my dad had given me. My dad sees this and tells me that I don't need it, that we're not even to our vacation destination and I'm going to find so many treasures there. He was probably just trying to save my sister from the hours of driving while I, in between naps, with no musical ability, confident in my lack of skills, tried to teach myself how to play a stringed instrument. I was crushed. Is he right? Do I not need it? Will I find something even better? I walked around for 15 more minutes with it in my arms before I finally put it back on the shelf with slumped shoulders and left the gift shop. I recently told this story to a friend and he asked, "How old were you?" thinking I'm sure that I was 10 or 11, and I said, "Oh, it was just a couple of weeks ago." The next time I saw him, he had a present for me, a ukulele that he was getting rid of. I still haven't learned how to play it. But when you Google Amber Nash, the two people that pop up are me and a ukulele player. My sister is the rock, the responsible one, the one that everyone goes to. She can do anything and everything. She is truly a Nash. I'm the free-spirited one in the family's eyes, the creative one, the weird one. No one in the extended family knows what I'm doing or where I live. No one has my phone number. If they need it, which I'm sure they couldn't imagine needing it, they just call my sister. But I'm not with when I'm not with my family, when I'm with my friends, the family that I see all the time, the group of people that I've chosen to live my adult life with, I'm the Nash. If something heavy needs to be moved and there are a bunch of girls standing around, I'm the first to pick it up. I can drive a tractor, back up a truck with a trailer on it, build a fire without lighter fluid, change headlights, and punch pretty hard. My paternal great-grandfather, Mr. Nash himself, wasn't even actually a Nash. He arrived in Missouri on an orphan train. Between 1854 and 1929, an estimated 200,000 orphaned, abandoned, and homeless children living in New York were shipped across the United States and Canada. This was due to the mass immigration that happened during that time. New York was severely overcrowded, so they shipped kids to farms where families needed more hands and help with work. So my great-grandfather was adopted by the Nashes. We don't know where he came from or what his name was. He could have been from anywhere. I can't help but wonder if he hadn't been put on that train, if his family could have kept him, how would that have changed my family, or would it have even been my family anymore? I like to think that it would have been rich in culture and stories of the old world instead of being the whitest of white Midwestern families. He would have been shaped by them instead of the Nashes, then shaped my grandfather, then my father and me. I'd be Kaminskying my way through projects. Does it matter the choices that I make in my life? Will they all lead me to where I'm supposed to be anyway? It's like the dipshit teenagers trying to run away from death in all the Final Destination movies. Mark your calendars, Final Destination 5 is coming out next year. I will end up at my final destination regardless of what I do, right? Well, death, of course. But will I have all the same accomplishments and disappointments in my pocket at the end of the road? Probably. We cannot escape ourselves. Personality is the ultimate decider. How we make decisions, navigate the world, interact with each other. And it isn't personality given to us by so many environmental factors: birth order, where you live, education, experience. According to trait theory, a psychological study of human personality, traits are defined by habitual patterns of behavior, thought, and emotion, and are thought to be relatively stable over time and influential to behavior. The debate of fate versus free will to me is like making a sandwich. I can put whatever I want on it, but in the end, it's still a sandwich. Thank you.